it all. I can have it all.
This is Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show, where you can get your information and inspiration to create your desires. And as you can see, I have a very beautiful friend. I'm very excited. I've never had Christy and Kloser on the Quantum Success Show before, and she's one of my favorite people. I've known Christine a very long time. She is known as the transformation catalyst, and she powerfully combines spiritual guidance and intuition with nuts and bolts writing, publishing, and marketing expertise. And she really has just this amazing global movement of authors who are just tapping in and unleashing their authentic voice and really being able to share their messages in a book and truly make a difference. I know many people want to become an author, but she's actually helping them take that step and doing it. So she is, in addition to coaching others through her transformational author experience and Get Your Book Done programs, Christine is a best-selling and award-winning author who has written and contributed to more than a dozen books, especially her latest ones, A Daily Dose of Love, Everyday Inspiration to help you remember what your heart already knows. I love that. And then her other one, Pebbles in the Pond, Transforming the World One Person at a Time. So this one's coming came out June 14th, and then she's got another one coming out. So you are a busy woman.
There's a lot going on.
Lots going on.
Stuff.
Always stuff going on with you. You've been featured in the LA Times, Entrepreneurial Magazine, Atlanta Constitution Journal, and the list goes on and on. So Christine, I am so happy to have you here with me today.
Well, thank you, Christy. I'm excited to be here. I love you, and I love what you're doing, so I love that we get to do it together.
Awesome. Well, both of us have that in common. We're authors, and if I know for me, becoming an author it was almost like I didn't have a choice because my books just kind of come through me, and it's a way for me to teach, and it's something I can't imagine not doing. And I love the experience of it, and I know so many people that I've talked to, or, that they just have that desire, to write the book, but they never do. And I hear that all the time, and I'm sure you do too. Oh yeah, I have a book I want to write, but then they actually don't take the steps in doing it. Right?
Very true. Yeah, they say actually there are studies in North America that say that 80% of people polled felt like they had a book inside of them. But it's like a teeny tiny fraction of people that actually get it done, because there's a million things that'll stop you along the way, from the inspiration to the reality.
Absolutely. And then doesn't it also kind of blow your mind when you go into a bookstore and you have that stat that like 80% of people have a book inside of them? Small percentage actually do, but then you go into a bookstore and there's like so many books. It's like...
Or you go to Amazon and there's like multiples more than actually in the bookstores. And it is amazing how many people still, with the number of books out in the world, actually have it trapped inside instead of out where it can make a difference. That's why I do what I do. Help people get it out.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about that. You give us a little bit of background on how you ended up being the pioneer of the transformational author movement.
Well, it's actually not a very pretty story. Because I've been training authors since 2004. That's when my first book came out. It was a compilation book that I did. I had 40 women in a networking group that I had started when I lived out in Los Angeles. And there were 40 of us, and we were all sick and tired of hearing ourselves say we wanted to be authors, but not doing anything about it. So finally, 11 years ago, I said, hands on hips, doing something about it. And we each wrote a story, everyone contributed, and I oversaw the entire process, editing, design, publishing. And back then we didn't have CreateSpace or really anything good print on demand. So I was researching big printing houses and, printing presses and all that kind of stuff. And I honestly thought, Christy, that it would be a, check, okay, that's off my bucket list, done. But people kept coming to me after that book was seen in Entrepreneur Magazine saying, when's the next one? When's the next one? So that was one group of questions I got. And another group of questions I got was, well, I wrote my chapter. Now I want your help writing my own book. And I resisted that for years, and then finally created my Get Your Book program. And I have done many anthologies, the next of which you mentioned, Pebbles in the Pond, is coming out wave 4 of that series on June 23rd. But there came a point, and I had always held the book stuff sort of at arm's length, because what I really care about and the work I've been doing since 97 is transformational work, facilitating transformational workshops and retreats. That's always been where my heart is.
Yeah.
So books were out here, and I, got really sidetracked building a business that wasn't aligned with my core gifts and who I was and who I'm here to be, and built a very big business, but on a really faulty foundation. And between 2008, 2009, 2010, it all just, it turned into nothing. And I had my little small publishing thing on the side, and I had brought in a partner to help me with it because it wasn't what I was here to do. But in that breakdown, I remember distinctly, it was January of 2011. I was going through a bankruptcy. I was losing my home to foreclosure. There's a business partner that I had decided that she wanted our business, which I had for 10 years, and she had just come in the last, year and a half, 2 years. And I was at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. And at that time, I was begging, asking, what do I do? What do I do? Like, I have to provide for my family. I'm the primary income earner, all that stuff. And I spent hours, days, weeks begging for clarity. What do I do from here? And this thing, the transformational author experience, which I had conceived the year before, but didn't do because all my marketing friends said it was a horrible name and you'd never be able to do anything. Nobody would buy it. So here I am.
Nice friends. No, I'm kidding.
Well, they were angels, because had I done that event in 2010 with my former business partner, when she ended up with our business, she would have ended up with that name, which is now, the name I've used to train over 55,000 authors, right? So here I am, bankrupt, losing my house, needing to make money, and the only thing I get from the universe is transformational author experience. I'm like, oh, come on, that's the one that sucked. But I couldn't deny that this was the only thing I could do. I knew authorship. I knew transformation even more, having gone through what I was going through then. I was like, I can't teach success. I can't teach about making money and feel good about it, because right now I'm bankrupt, right? And couldn't do that.
Right.
But transformation and authorship, I got this. I got it. And within 90 days of sort of getting the download that this is what I need to do, I was training nearly 10,000 people in the very first transformational author experience. So
amazing.
Out of a very, very low valley came an amazing, amazing business and contribution.
Well, I love so many things that you just said in there. It's like, you reached a point, it didn't kill you. It's like you knew there was something else. You're asking for that clarity. You got the clarity, and you didn't hear, like what so many people do, right? They ask, they receive, then they're like, oh, well, that's not it. They didn't, they go, well, that can't be right. And then it's got to be something else, when it was literally delivered. So the fact that you were present enough to be aware, to hear that download, and then to actually do something about it, I mean, good for you.
And especially in the face of knowing that some of the top marketers, if I named names, you would know the top marketers I'm talking about. They were the ones who all said it was horrible. So, I really had to trust intuition, because this needed to work. I needed to find a place for my family to live and have the money to put down a deposit on a rental. It had to work. So I had to forget about all those voices and what everyone said and trust that inner knowing. And it's been working ever since pretty well.
Awesome.
Helping thousands of authors.
Well, that's what I love about you, Christine, is you truly are one of those transformational leaders that does your own processes. I mean, you take responsibility for your own growth. You know, life's not perfect. It's going to, we're all in transition all the time, but you always are willing to do your inner work. And I've watched you over the years, it's like you truly are one of those people that really show up in a way that's really authentic. And, for me, that's we need more leaders like that. Like you.
I would agree. Thank you.
You're welcome. So how do you define, like you said, okay, transformational author, how do you define a transformational author?
Good question. I had the very same question when this message was coming in January 2011, really solidifying in February of that year. I'm like, what is a transformational author? So, what's the first thing we do when we have a question? Go to Google. So I hit Google and I type in transformational author to see what I can find, and I was shocked. Nothing. Nothing. I couldn't find those two words used together on the entire internet. I was like, well, okay, I guess this is sort of open domain for me, but I had to then ask myself because Google didn't have the answers for me. And the way that the answer came about how to define a transformational author, it actually came in 4 levels. And the first level of being a transformational author is that it's someone who understands and embraces and really steps into the fact that writing a book, first and foremost, will transform the writer, right? I see your head going crazy.
Oh, yes.
You understand this as a writer. It changes you.
Yes.
So you've got to, be up for whatever the personal journey of transformation is for yourself. Then the second level is to really be connected and committed to the transformation that you want for your readers, right? It's about you and it's about the readers.
Yeah.
And then the third piece of really stepping into being a transformational author is understanding and embracing that a book too has amazing potential to transform your business. Mm-hmm. And when you really look at that, it's not just the book. There's a lot more that you can do around the book to create greater impact, deeper impact, broader impact through a book-based business.
Yes.
You got to look at, well, what is the transformation I want for my business? And then the fourth level is sort of like the fun, awesome, feel-good, juicy one, which is what's the transformation that you see possible for the world? Like if every person on the planet, right, you just had your book come out, hit New York Times bestseller list, what if every woman on the planet, really got that she could have it all, that she didn't need to be limited and this, and go to her grave with this piece that just never got to express.
Yeah.
We live in a different world.
Absolutely.
So these are the 4 levels. And I teach them in the form of a question. So if you feel like you want to write your book, first question to ask, what transformation do you want for yourself? Second question, I hope you're writing these down, is what transformation do you want for your readers? Third is what transformation do you want for your business? And fourth is what transformation, do you imagine and envision for the world through you writing your book?
Great.
And so it's not a specific definition, it's more of a perspective of what it is to be a transformational author.
Christine, right on with that. I mean, that beautifully researched, downloaded, expressed, those are deep questions that I'm glad I knew those answers, I have those answers and I had that connection, but it's like, wow, that's so, each level you're talking about, it's so true. It's to truly be a transformational author. So amazing. And I know there's so many people out there that would love to be, right? So what kind of stops them? What are the, some unique challenges that, people that want to become a transformational author, what do they face?
Well, the biggest thing they face is the fear, doubt, confusion, overwhelm, not knowing where to start and letting it stop them, right? Everyone who has a book idea, kind of at this point, it's okay, it needs to go from idea to reality. Yeah. But there's this big space between one and the other and so many pitfalls that can be along the way. So if an author doesn't know what to do, you can get stopped in a heartbeat because of the confusion. Just go online and look up book publishing or writing a book, and there are millions of resources. Right? It's enough to confuse you and keep you just kind of do those swirly eyes, not knowing what to do first or how to do it. So that's the thing what most authors, deal with, and especially transformational authors, because the book is so close to their heart. It really means something. This isn't a book that someone's going to, bang out in 48 hours and have it be done. This is a book that's going to take time to grow and evolve and expose you, perhaps. A lot of transformational authors are people who want to excavate some of that inner wisdom in those stories that maybe aren't the highlights of their life, but their greatest teaching experiences. And there can be some hesitation of okay, how vulnerable am I willing to be on the page? How authentic and real can I show up? And is it okay? Am I okay? Will I be safe? Are people going to, ridicule me?
Oh, yes.
So,
Oh yes, all of that.
yeah.
And yes, absolutely.
So those are some of the things, that keep authors stuck. And it's sad because the minefield is plentiful, but there's a path through. I believe for every single person who has a book inside their heart, like they can feel it, there's a path through that to success, as you and I and many others have experienced as published authors. It absolutely can be done. The bookstore and Amazon show you that. It's a matter of you making your way and getting the confidence, clarity, and courage that you need to see it through the end.
Beautiful. So let's talk about that real quick. I mean, can you give a few tips to help people that are really wanting to do that, like to get them moving in the right direction, to get them past those challenges?
Yeah, there are a couple of really fun things that you can do. And one thing that I absolutely do not recommend is sitting down to write your book immediately. Like some people are like, oh, I'm going to write a book and then sit down and try to start with chapter 1. I like to encourage authors to really first begin with those 4 questions we asked earlier, your 4 levels of transformation, and really identify who is the ideal reader. What transformation do you want for them and who are they? Because if you can imagine who that ideal reader is and sort of make a personal connection with a singular embodiment of who would be the perfect person to read your book.
Exactly.
Now all of a sudden, instead of sitting down to a blank page and like hundreds or thousands or millions are going to read this, now you're just writing for one person. And if you started there, I found that many of my clients, it's like those voices can go back a little bit further in the mind. They're not in the front running the show. It's like, oh, okay, it's just me, and I'm sharing my wisdom with this person in front of me who I can relate to, understand. Now, maybe it's a real person. Maybe you've fabricated an avatar of your favorite, ideal reader. But that's a really good place for people to start. It's just, who is that person? Make the personal connection with them and be clear about what kind of results you want them to experience in their lives. And that's a really good place to get started before you put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard and start actually writing the content.
Great tip, Christine. That's absolutely, I just telling you, I did the same thing. Like I always have that vision of who's going to be my reader, who's like my ideal client. And I remember years ago, like in 2008, a woman named Evelyn Apostolou, who now is the managing director of the QSCA. So she's a head teacher and all that. But back then, it's like I'm writing to that Evelyn back then. Like those kind of women that they got it all, but they're not happy, or they still desire other things, that kind of thing. And so I knew exactly who I was writing to. So exactly, it's like I could get very specific. I knew that this Evelyn and all the other, amazing women that are like an Evelyn, she could relate to my stories and she can understand where I'm coming from when I'm talking about emotions or things like that. So beautifully said. Great tip, Christine.
Because the beauty of that is it lets your heart, which is where the best books live, right, or in the heart, it lets you reach out and connect with her heart. So like you write it from that place for her, and then she can receive it in that place from you, and that's where she can actually not just read the words, but embody them and do something different in her life as a result. And that's what, is possible for every book and every reader.
Awesome. Well, Christine, I'm so excited that you're on the show. Thank you for being here. I know there's lots of people who want to write a book. So I knew you're going to give a free gift away. So the link is going to be under the video. Do you want to tell them about that?
I would be happy to. I mean, the timing of this interview is so perfect because I'm coming up on producing and delivering my 5th annual Transformational Author Experience. So that event that I did back in, early 2011 that brought me out of that dark place and into the amazing work I get to do now around the world with amazing people. I'm doing it again for the 5th time, and after 4 years of testing and tracking and proving and all that, it's going to be the best year ever, and I'm so excited that you're going to be a part of it too, Christy. You're going to be one of our teachers. But it's a 2-week training, completely free, starting on May 18th and going all the way through the 29th. And it is literally the go-to training of the year for anyone who wants to write, publish, and promote a book that makes a difference, right? That is a transformational book. Yeah. There is no other place to go for this kind of training. And I
scour the earth and I call on favors and I bring together some of the most amazing people, publishers and literary agents for people like Neil Donald Walsh and Edgar Tolle and Jack Canfield. Like they're literary agents, the publisher of The Power of Now, New York Times bestselling authors like Christy and Lisa Nichols and Chris Atwood, marketing experts and platform building experts, all coming together in one place at one time to give you the entire landscape that you need to succeed in writing, publishing, and promoting a book. It's off the charts. We've impacted, 55,000 authors so far, and we're ready to impact a whole lot more coming up May 18th. So mark your calendar, and like Christy said, right down below there's a link. Just click on that to come on over and get some free resources to start off with and join the training on May 18th.
Awesome. So if you have ever wanted to write a book, or your cousin or your mother or anybody has ever wanted to, share the link. It's a free gift that I'm so honored to be a part of as far as one of the teachers on the program. So thank you for that, Christine. But I know Christine's programs. I've known her for years, and I know that she only has top-notch people that are there to just give tons and tons of value. It's free. Go there, see if it's like now's the time in your life to take that step. If it's percolating inside you, just click on the link and see what kind of training you can get and see if that's your next step. So thank you, Christine. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, Christine. Great to be with you all.
Thank you so much. And leave us a comment. Christine can comment as well. If you have comments for Christine or myself, let us know, what you're taking away from today. And have a really amazing week. Thanks for watching.